Today I'm going to help you understand how to read a pattern. I had some viewers on my YouTube channel ask about how to read a pattern, so I figured I'd go over the basics of reading a pattern. First thing you'll need is an actual pattern. So I actually use my patterns from my Kindle. Typically there is some kind of key to explain abbreviations for a particular pattern. This one's actually by Rosalie Toys. I just bought this pattern today on her Etsy. You should visit her shop. She just started. She's got a few patterns on there. In order to read a pattern, you'll need to know what that particular pattern maker uses to describe their stitches. So in this instance, you can see your pretty basic stitches. Of course, you'll need to know how to create these stitches in order to be able to proceed with the pattern, but these are your main chain stitch, slip stitch, single crochet, decrease. There's not too many complicated stitches in this particular pattern. It seems pretty simple. Okay, so without giving too much away, because of course this is a purchase pattern, so if you actually want the actual pattern, you'll need to go to Rosalie Toys Etsy shop. But as you can see here, R stands for round, so this is the first round, round 1. And then you'll crochet 8 single crochets into a magic ring. That's how that reads. So then you just do that first step. So we'll do that. Okay, we can continue. So I have learned, especially with these chenille yarns, that you have to leave a little slack when you're creating stitches. Otherwise, you're not able to close the magic ring. So always leave some wiggle room. Otherwise, you get shedding like this. So I'm going to restart that so that it's not like that. So I'll leave just enough space to go ahead and be able to tighten that up a little. And then I'll go ahead and do my first single crochet. And I'll grab the bottom just so it gives it a little slack. Make my first single crochet there. This yarn is not my favorite, but I've learned to manage. 2. I like to use a stitch marker in the last stitch that I created of the previous round, so I see where I need to stop. Okay, so next part of the pattern, without giving away too much detail, it's a basic increase. So it's 8 INC, which stands for increase, and you should have 16 stitches, and that's for round 2. That's what R2 is. So here we go. It should be easier to create stitches now that your initial round is made. Although this yarn isn't the most giving. Slowly, and of course I'll probably speed this up so you don't have to wait on me. I'm not the fastest, but I truly try to do my best to be accurate. So, speed your game. Sorry, I'll do this. And I'm a yarn under person, so if you yarn over, that's your personal preference, but I prefer the way they look when you yarn under. Okay, so we're going to jump to round 4, and as you can see in the parentheses or the brackets, you'll see a BLO. And in this instance, that usually means back loop only. So we're going to go 24 single crochets around in the back loop only, and that's how that's read. In case you didn't know what a back loop only is, you find your stitch, see your V stitch, you're only going in the loop that's towards the back of your work, and you work your single crochet in the back part of that loop, and you leave the front loop, so where it starts to create the leftover loop in the front, you start to see a line, in case you didn't know. And I'm always open for comment, questions. I really enjoy helping people learn to crochet. It's a passion of mine. So if there's anything you don't understand, or if you have any additional questions, I'm happy to answer them. in comments, or I can create a video if it's a little bit more complicated. I'm happy to help. Okay, and that's pretty much it. That's the basics of reading a pattern. Again, there are more complicated stitches that are involved in a lot of patterns, or that are included in a lot of patterns. So if you run into something you're not sure about, or if you need an additional explanation, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. But that's it. That's the gist of writing, or reading, I should say, a pattern. So I will continue to complete this pattern. I'll add a video for that if you want to see the completed work. But thanks for watching. Have a good one.